Hello, and welcome to my Skillshare tutorial for CreatorLNX. CreatorLNX is an awesome AI art community where you can hone your art skills and learn new methods of producing AI art. I'm AiAnarchy, and today we'll be going over the tool Diffusion. Diffusion is a Google Colab notebook which leverages an AI image generation technique called clip-guided diffusion to allow you to create compelling and beautiful images just from text inputs. Created by Samanai and augmented by Ganumu and building on the work of Rivers Have Wings and many others. Now this method is a bit of an old school method. A lot of the practices I'm using have been used to make derivatives of popular projects. Here you can see the Moonbird project, AI Nightbirds. Here they did like a spooky, eerie effect. We'll just look at some of the art. Here they did like a cloudy city vibe. Really like that one. So yeah, somebody also did the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection. Some of the art here you can hope to reproduce with this art tool that I'm using. So they did here like a floral kind of, foresty, a little bit of a city, town type of vibe. Here they did like a cyber city, cloudy effect. So yeah, you can hope to produce many different styles using this art tool. I also did the Mutant Hounds collection myself. Let's see some of the art that I did here. Here I did like a galaxy kind of vibe. So yeah, I've even done this myself some. So these methods can be replicated in other tools like Stable Diffusion. I'll briefly go over that method at the end of this video. But Diffusion produces a certain quality, and I've coded my own prompt tool, into Diffusion to make the prompts come out different and unique each time. So you can really edit the script to your liking, program your own things into it if you want, or you can use it how it is. So yeah, today we'll be going over how to start and run the script. I'll give some general tips for the settings, and most of all the settings for producing the art, we will be creating have already been programmed into the script, but I'll be going over how to change them and a bit of a tutorial on what each of the settings do to change the art. So yeah, sometimes with the free script, it can take up to 10 to 15 minutes to generate one piece of art. So we'll be needing to focus on the prompts and how to really get the art to come out correct. So the Google Colab notebook link is provided in the details of this video. All you will need to do upon entering is hit runtime and run all. It will connect and it will give you a Tesla T4 GPU. Slowly, it takes a little while, I call it like an old car starting up. You'll have to connect to Google Drive. So this is where it will save all of your output images. So what we'll do is just connect there and continue. And after it connects, it will run and satisfy all of its requirements. It has to run each of these boxes, so it will take a little bit to set up here, and hopefully it will do it on the first run. It will run everything correctly, and while it's doing that, I will show you how to input your images. So it's already created a folder here called Drive. Oh, there you see it's running all of it's satisfying all of its requirements there. So we've created a folder called Drive, all right, and you hit My Drive and AI. In that AI folder, you will need to create a folder called Base. Here I already have one, but what I'll do is, well, I won't do that. Basically, you'll need to create a folder called Base, and then inside of that, you will need to have a folder called Done. Um, Basically, that's because I have in my script, I've told it to run a whole folder. That way you can do batches of images at the same time. Uh, so that's just kind of a unique feature that I've kind of changed within Disco Diffusion. Usually it runs on one input image, but I've told it to create this base folder, use the images out of this base folder. So it's slowly satisfying its requirements here. Um, while it's doing that, maybe we'll talk about some of the settings. Um, so the steps and the skip steps are some of the most important settings. Um, that's what tells it how much how many cuts it's gonna do into the image, and how much AI artifacts it puts on top of the images. So usually when I'm doing NFT images, we'll adjust the skip steps to about 250, the steps to about 250, and the skip steps to about usually half of that. Right now I have the base script on 150, um, just for the sake of it doing the best on any image you input. But you can edit these settings to create a more desirable effect. You can decrease it to, if you decrease it to 125, it's going to increase the amount of effect that you have on your image. So let's go up here and see how far we are into it. It's still, it does take a little while. It's like I said, it's like an old car starting up. Um, so let's go ahead and get our base image. Okay, there we go. It's done there. So now it has to download each model. These models have been pre-selected, and these are kind of the best ones to run with the free script. If you get the professional script, Google Colab script, it will probably you can change these and get different image sets. But the ones I've selected kind of are the best, I think, for messing with. So it has to go in and download each one. Let's see, I already have an image in my base folder, so whatever that image is, we'll just go with that. I'm not sure with what project it is, but um, we'll go ahead and just wait for it to load up here. And let's see, we can talk about, let's go to Zippy's Disco Diffusion cheat sheet. And this is the link to this has been provided to you too. And this kind of just talks a little bit about all the settings. It's kind of it's really detailed. So you can go in and read it. Let me see what I want to talk about here. I want to talk about the clip guidance. I've already talked about the skip steps, so clip guidance scale is one of the most important parameters you will use. It says it tells Disco Diffusion how strongly you want clip to move toward your prompt each time step. Higher is generally better, but if the clip guidance scale is too strong, it will overshoot the goal and distort the image. Anyway, so basically what that's telling you is, talking about is the clip guidance scale, which I've set really high here. And, that tells it how closely it wants it to stick to the prompt, and how close it wants to do that. So it's already so there we go, it's done. And so it started my image because I already had the base folder created in the AI folder. And also I have the, like I said, you have to put the done in there, because after it finishes each image, it puts that image in the done folder for you and runs through to the next image in that folder. That's, basically I've kind of coded it to each time create a different prompt. That way, you could do large amounts of images. So here we'll let this run. Let's let the image pop up. It looks like it's a Pepe 8 Yacht Club. So we're gonna let this run and see what kind of image we get out of this. Okay, so about 15 minutes into our run, Here we have, I did a floating islands on the sky, and it did an awesome kind of sunset background here. I added a lot of unique AI artifacts to this Pepe Ape Yacht Club. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. We'll hit stop here, and what we'll do is go up and explain the prompts a little bit better. It's important to note that the way this is set up, it gives you a different prompt each time it runs. But you can change the prompts here and in this box. And each time you change it, you must hit run to input it. So for example, let's say, um, well, first we'll explain, not all of the modifiers have been used. Um, so let's say you want to add the next modifier, which is, let's say it's landscape prompts. You just add that in and I'll show you where the list is. So the list is here, like I just added landscape prompts into it. And what that does is each time it runs, it picks an item out of the landscape prompt list and puts it in. Um, so yeah, the artists are all provided for you also here in there in the prompt section. So yeah, I'm just reading all the artists. I noticed I had listed Takashi Murakami twice, but that gives you a very unique trippy effect when you use that artist. But most of these artists have been pre-selected, and I've researched them to be the best artists for using. Like I said, not all of the um, parameters have been used. Like here, you have some modifiers, which you could also put in, but we're not going to put those in. Now, let's say you just want to completely get rid of all that altogether. Let's just keep the time of day, the artist prompts, and so basically what that's going to do is it's going to use a fully ultra detailed painting of, let's say, a cloudy galaxy, um, just for testing, and we'll run that sorry, galaxy. Having trouble typing, and let's do a nebula. Let me see. Let's just do it. Let's just do that. You want to usually keep it kind of simple. Usually that's what works with best. And like I said, each time you want to hit run on that. And so let's go ahead and run our diffusion box and see it gives it a cloudy galaxy nebula by Bob Barkley and Chris Moore. So that's what we're going to run. Let's let that pop up. While that image is rendering, we'll go over some of the settings. I've already explained the clip guidance scale a little bit, so we'll go into the TV scale, the total variance denoising. It's optional. Normally I don't mess with it. Um, so this controls the smoothness of the final output. Um, the TV scale will try to smooth out your final image to reduce overall noise. If your image is too crunchy, increase TV scale. Uh, I think I have it set to the max, or let's see what the TV scale is set to here. Yeah, it's set to the max. So we'll talk about the let's talk about the more important um, settings. You can go over and read all of them yourself and kind of figure out what you want to do to tweak your images. But the cut in batches is important. I normally have it set to just 4 though. Like I said, most of the settings have been set to what they should be set at for producing NFT style images. But the cut in batches, each iteration, the AI cuts the image into smaller pieces known as cuts and compares each cut to the prompt to decide how to guide the next diffusion step. So more cuts can generally lead to better images, but it does take a little bit longer if you set it to, like, let's say 8, and I usually set it to 4 because it can crash your GPU. So let's see, like it says, additional cuts are more memory intensive. Um, let's see. So I think those are most of the important settings. It says a common Disco Diffusion workflow is to change the prompt in their settings, do a short run, assess the image as it's coming up, and tweak the settings and do it again, which is basically what I've done here in this video. I've just kind of shortened it up. Like you can see, we'll go down and see what's going on here with our cloudy galaxy nebula. It's at about 41%, which is taking about 7 minutes. Um, so yeah, now that we've done that, let's let that run for a little bit longer, and um, then I will take and put that image into Stable Diffusion, and let's see what we can produce using a mix of Disco Diffusion and a Stable Diffusion as the base image. So let's see what we can do with that. So ThinkDiffusion is my method of running Stable Diffusion. Usually I use A1111. So we're just gonna go and launch. Now, normally when you sign up, you can get the free. You can get a free balance. I think it's about $2 that it gives you to test and play around with on each new Google account that you use. But see, this one I'm gonna just. It says it's gonna take about 3 minutes to set up. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the saving. So you can just take and save your image if you want to as it's running. You know, that's always a possibility. But more importantly, let's go up and talk about the saving in intermediate steps. So it says up here, it's got in the settings, intermediate saves to. Basically, it says intermediate steps will save a copy at your specified intervals. A value of 2 will save a copy at 33% and 66%. So what that does is it saves a copy in your Google Drive for in the output Disco Diffusion images out, and then whatever your but the batch name, so it's Anarchy Disco, it will have saved the images in Anarchy Disco there. So yeah, that's a little bit about the saving. So yeah, we're gonna wait for this to set up, and then we're going to do our Stable Diffusion image. Our Stable Diffusion machine running. I went ahead and you asked ChatGPT to give us a celestial kind of nebula clouds galaxy kind of prompt. So we're going to input that into the prompt here in the text to image. In the negative prompt, you'll probably want to put anything that resembles humans or fingers, or let's see here, I've got a list of things that I have already in my copy and paste. Okay, so but let's go in here and talk about what we want to set our settings at. I'll try to do this and then show you exactly, you know, how I set it up, and you can tweak some of the settings if you want, but this is the best way I've found to do this. So DPM ++ 2M SDE Keras. We're going to go with that for the sampling method. For the sampling steps, we're going to go about 40 or 39. We're going to increase our image size, usually to the max you can. Will produce the best image, but for this tutorial and for speed's sake, we're just going to go with 1,000. The batch count, batch size is going to be set at 1. So that's all done. Okay, let's get into our control net. So you hit the control net option down here, and that's where you're going to put your images. So let's get our I think I saved, yeah, so I saved our Pepe 8 Yacht Club as a base image, but you want to let's see, hopefully I have him saved again. I need the regular, there we go, the base image of him. So you want to go with the plain base image as your first one. We're going to enable that pixel perfect, and you're going to keep it on all. So it's important to go down here to the model and hit QR. I find QR code monster. That's what you want to set as your model. And then we'll set the control weight up to about 1.8 or so. Um, all right, so that's all done. That's enabled. Um, you can allow preview if you want. Let's go to ControlNet Unit 1. And so what we want to do there is use our Disco Diffusion saved image that we created earlier with a little bit of already a cloudy galaxy nebula effect. We're going to go with depth. We're going to set the control weight to about 0.7, and the starting control step, you can mess with that. I've found that it does some difference. But see how you got to enable that pixel perfect, allow preview, and then we'll go to the next one, and we will put our Disco Diffusion image in there too. Enable pixel perfect, allow preview, and then we're going to go with tile blur. That's what I've found to work the best. So we're going to set the control weight to about 7.7, starting control step to 0.1, and yeah, we're just going to go with that. And we've got our prompt in, we've got our negative prompt, we've got all of our settings in. So let's just click generate and see what that gives us. I'm gonna see, it should take about, I think with Stable Diffusion it normally takes about 10 minutes or so. So here we've created this awesome edit of the Pepe Ape with a galaxy effect. So now you have a really cool mix of styles with Disco Diffusion coming out in the background here and Stable Diffusion here in the depth. So it's important to note that the settings I've used and provided in the Google Colab notebook are the best that I've found. So you can tweak those, but I've produced a lot of really good works with those settings, and I hope you can too. The ones in Stable Diffusion actually could be explored more to get better details, but for the sake of this video, I think we've created some really cool works of art and hopefully explained some of the settings as best as I could in a short video. So I wish you guys the best of luck with this and happy creating. See you later.